SpaceX is planning to send a bunch of cattle into orbit. It will be the herd shot round the world. My partner and I watched Interstellar last night. She said the movie was over her head. I replied, "Of course it's over your head. It's in space." Did you know they make a cologne that smells like rocket fuel? They call it Elon Musk. Did you know that Elton John hates iceberg lettuce? He's a rocket man. Elon Musk has announced his next planned spacecraft. He stated that its purpose is to help remove debris from Earth's orbit. It's a brand new, state-of-the-art vacuum cleaner. According to official NASA documents, they have aliens on the ISS. They also have Alien, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection all on DVD. The US, Chinese, and Russia have announced new space programs. The Americans plan to go to the moon, Chinese will go to Mars, and Russia reports they will land cosmonauts on the sun. The others quickly replied that this is a suicide mission, to which the Russians replied, "Shows how smart you are. We plan to go at night." What did Russian cosmonauts stop using pencils in space? Because they didn't want to give John Wick any more ammunition. I read Elon Musk wants to send 12,000 satellites into orbit. If you ask me, that's pretty astronomical. NASA's new telescope called Lucy has mirrors polished with diamonds, so they will actually send Lucy in the sky with diamonds. I met an astronaut in Mexico who claimed to hold the record for the fastest unassisted orbit around Earth. I'll never forget Juan Solo. Why do astronauts use Linux? Because you can't open Windows in space. As soon as space travel is possible, I'm moving from the Milky Way to the Soy Milky Way galaxy. I'm galactose intolerant. Orion's belt is a waste of space. I give it 3 stars. If I was an astronaut, before every mission I would sit down with my wife and tell her, "Listen, honey, it's not that I want a divorce, I just think I need some space." Then I would put on my helmet and slow walk to the launch pad. What's the hardest part about throwing a party in outer space? You have to plan it. Why can't you send a duck to space? The bill would be astronomical. What did the space alien call the human who was run over by a bus? A flat earther. Dad is down at the auto dealership looking at potential choices. "Cargo space?" he asks. The salesman says, "Car no do that. Cargo road." Recently, a wine aged in space was put up for sale. I wanted to buy it, but the price was astronomical. I heard Einstein finally finished his theory about space. It's about time too, isn't it? I think space exploration is a waste of time. There are many better things to do for leisure than stare at a computer keyboard all day. Where do space explorers leave their spacecraft? At parking meteors. Thought about signing our dog up to be a space explorer, but remembered he hates vacuums. What do you call a Cuban space explorer? A castronaut. How do you get an astronaut's baby to sleep? You rock it. An astronaut stepped in gum on the moon. He's stuck in orbit. What's an astronaut's favorite part of a computer? The space bar. Did you know astronauts said steaks are better in space? They're a little meatier. I once met an astronaut who was claustrophobic. Turns out he just needed a little space. Why do all kids want to be an astronaut? Because there is no pressure. If athletes get athlete's foot, then what do astronauts get? Mistletoe. Why were the astronauts quiet? Because they spaced out. When I was growing up, my dad always used to tell me, the sky's the limit. He was never supportive of my dreams of becoming an astronaut. I love working as an astronaut. It's a very low-pressure job. What do astronauts use to keep warm? A space heater. Why do astronauts never get depressed, even if they stay in outer space for months? There's nothing there to bring them down. I want to become an astronaut, so I can be above the law. The astronaut's dad made a fatal mistake. He didn't understand the gravity of the situation. Why are astronauts lazy? Because when they're in space, they don't carry their own weight. Passed my NASA astronaut license today. I'm over the moon. Why are most astronauts and astronomers introverted? They like their space. Two astronauts spot some cheese floating around. Hey look, it's space debris. Why did the Russians lose the space race? Their rockets kept stalling. An astronaut refused to come back to Earth to see his girlfriend. He said he needed some space. The rocket scientist became an amazing archer. No, seriously, he keeps on testing aerodynamics. Bought my wife a rocket for her birthday. She's over the moon. Did you hear NASA was experimenting with rockets without engines? The idea didn't really take off. If Elon Musk's rocket company established a Mars colony and you had a girlfriend on Mars but later broke up because of the long distance, she'd be your SpaceX. I can't stop thinking about rocket engines. They are so uplifting. What do you call rocket traffic? Space Jam. I just found out astronauts are using rocket fuel to get high. What is a spacecraft chock full of microbes sent to populate the nearest planetary system? A probiotic. So Japan are planning to launch a wooden satellite into orbit next year. It's got wooden panels, wooden antennas, a wooden dish, and a wooden propulsion system. Who'd have thought that would work? Why was mission control so tense when NASA launched a cow into orbit? It was a high-stakes mission. What do you call a blood-sucking parasite that orbits the Earth? A lunatic. What do you call two stars orbiting each other? Solar opposites. What's another name for inactive satellites orbiting Earth? A waste of space. How long does it take Uranus to orbit the Sun? 1 year. What was the first potato to orbit the Earth? Sputnik. NASA is having a Pluto party. They didn't even plan it. NASA sent a cat to Mars, but it died. Curiosity killed the cat. I wonder if they have a glass porthole on the Mars rover to both see out of and so Martians could see into the rover. Or did NASA miss this window of opportunity? I think NASA's Voyager is one of the best things humans have ever made. Actually, you know what? I'll just say it. It's the most far-out thing we've ever made. Just saw a horrifying news story that an astronaut lost control on a spacewalk and is drifting in space. NASA told him to be calm, and he replied, "I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation." An Irishman walks into NASA and asks, "Can I land my spaceship on the moon?" The surface of Mars looks identical to the Nevada desert. There's only one explanation. NASA faked the state of Nevada. I wonder how NASA felt after Apollo 11's success. I bet they were over the moon. NASA was having a debate over the sun size. It got very heated. Why were NASA's Apollo-era engineers no fun at the playground? They had too many slide rules. NASA has finally announced what would have happened to the Earth if the moon wasn't present. 50% less poems and love songs. My wife showed me a website where you can send your name on a microchip on the Mars 2020 rover. I told her I'm glad the rover is not going to Uranus. NASA has announced that all launches will now take place from Europe. Europe does the final countdown. NASA just put a new restaurant on the moon. The food is awesome, but no atmosphere at all. The International Space Station isn't a good place for comedy. The jokes would go over everyone's head. People on board the International Space Station are such snobs. They look down on everyone. Did you hear about the uprising at the International Space Station? It was a revolution around the whole planet. I tried telling a joke on the International Space Station about its trajectory. It didn't land. The International Space Station is going to be an Airbnb to make extra money. They have space to rent. Why did the space station need a weightlifter to open the hatch? Because Neil Armstrong. I wrote down the current gas prices on a piece of paper and put it in my pocket. I later used a rocket to get on the International Space Station. I guess you could say that the gas prices skyrocketed. My wife suggested I get a telescope since I was so interested in astronomy. I told her I'd look into it. What happens when a microscope bangs into a telescope? A kaleidoscope. What language do telescopes speak? Farsi. After a long job search, I finally got a job in a company that makes telescopes. Things are looking up. I came in first at the science fair and received a new telescope. It wasn't bad for a constellation prize. You need a telescope to see Jupiter, but you only need a mirror to see Uranus. The James Webb Space Telescope captured a photo of a black hole today. It sucks. I used to think science and religion didn't mix, but my astronomy professor is always talking about how beautiful angels are. We even had an entire chapter devoted to celestial bodies, and let me tell you, some of them are incredibly hot. I'm Montgomery Jones, and that's the Out of This World Dad Jokes for Space Exploration Day. I'm on a mission to spread the laughs and groans far and wide, so please share these jokes with your family and friends. Thanks.
Looking for more dad joke humor to share? Then subscribe to our new weekly email newsletter. It's our weekly roundup of the best dad jokes, memes, and humor for you to enjoy. Spread the laughs and groans and sign up today. Check the sign up link in the show notes page or visit dailydadjokespodcast.com. Do you have your own dad joke you want to share? Join the hundreds of listeners who have submitted their own dad jokes through my voicemail. Please spread the laughs and groans and submit your own dad joke to our voicemail, with the best ones to be included in special fan episodes. Just leave your name, the city and state you live in, and your best dad joke. Call 978-393-1076. I'll repeat that number, it's 978-393-1076, or check the show notes page for the number. I look forward to hearing from you. The Daily Dad Jokes podcast is produced by Classic Studios. See the show notes page for social media links and joke credits.